All right, now we're going to talk about high-level Chapter 3, Section N, second day, angles between two vectors. Okay, so in an earlier section in H3L, we learned that to find an angle between two vectors, we can take the dot product of two vectors, divided it by the magnitude A and the magnitude of vector B. And we also know the special cases that if A is perpendicular to B, then the dot product is going to be 0, and if A is parallel to B, then the vector A is going to be the same as vector B, with the exception that we've got a scalar multiplied by one of the vectors. So just some number to make one of the vectors longer or shorter. They would be the same if they're parallel. Okay, so when given equations of lines, we only need to use the direction vectors. So let's look at an example. Okay, so if I am given vector AB, okay, so we already have a direction here, and if I'm given a line that looks like this in vector form, find the angle between the two lines. So I'm only going to need the direction vector. The 3, 6, negative 4 is a position vector. We don't care about the position. To find the angle, we're only using the directions, the direction vector. So we're going to use that. So in order to do that, we need to figure out the dot product, and we need to figure out the magnitude of A and the magnitude of B. So how do we figure out the dot product? Well, to do the dot product, here's this direction vector, here's that direction vector. We do 1 times negative 1, which is going to give me negative 1. 3 times negative 2, I'm going to get negative 6. Negative 3 times 1, we're going to get negative 3. Add these all together, and we get negative 10. Remember, when you do the dot product, you end up with a scalar, which is a single number. Okay, now I need to find the magnitude of A. So the magnitude of A is the length of vector A. So to figure out the length of vector A, I need to use the distance formula. So the distance formula of this is the square root of the square root of 1 squared plus 3 squared plus negative 3 squared. So then this gives us 1 squared is 1, 3 squared is 9, negative 3 squared is 9, right? So we end up with the square root of 19. Okay, now we need to figure out the magnitude of B, this guy here, right? So the square root of negative 1 squared plus negative 2 squared plus 1 squared, which gives us the square root of 1 plus 4 plus 1, which is going to give me the square root of 6. Okay, so now I've got the dot product, the magnitude of A, and the magnitude of B, and so I'm going to put those all together, and then so now I'm applying that formula that we saw up above. So we're applying this formula here. So we've got the dot product divided by the two magnitudes multiplied together. So we've got negative 10 divided by the square root of 19 times the square root of 6. And if I do that on my calculator, you end up with negative 10 divided by this decimal. Make sure you don't round this. You only round your final answer to 3 significant figures. If you round too early, your answer is not going to be accurate. Only the last final answer do you round to 3 significant figures. So this divided by this, we're going to get this decimal, and then you do the inverse cosine, and then you get 159 degrees. Now if I do 180 minus that, I'm going to get 21. And the important thing to remember is that the angle can either be obtuse or acute unless specific directions specify. So you will find on an IB test, they're going to say, give me the acute angle or give me the obtuse angle, and then you would have to choose one or the other. I hope this helps.